Well, problem number 19 says to solve, and so that means we need to get those g's by itself. We're looking at a pretty long problem here, so I just want to start out by saying that I'm going to be careful to write very neatly. I'm also not going to write too big so I don't run out of room, and I'm going to suggest you do the same thing. Let's try to write as neat as we can, and let's try not to write too large so we can all finish this in the space provided. All right, let's see if we can get g by itself. The first thing I always do when I'm solving is if there's parentheses, like there's parentheses right there, we want to get rid of them. You get rid of them by distributing, which is a fancy way of saying multiplying. So we want to take this 8 and multiply it by 3g. So 8 times 3 is 24. So we will write that that is 24g. And then next we have 8 times 2, that's 16. So plus 16. And then there is also a minus 3g over here. Why didn't I multiply this by 8? I didn't because it's not in the parenthesis. So I just write minus 3g. Over to the other side. So there's another parenthesis. So the 3 will have to get multiplied by this, and it will have to get multiplied by this, but we will not multiply it by this because that part is not in the parenthesis. Let's keep going. So 3 times 5g would be 15g. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, so I'll write minus 12, and then there's also a minus 2 over here. So good job, we have gotten rid of the parentheses. The next thing I like to do is I cover up one side at a time, and I ask myself, are there any like terms? And there are. These are both g's, so they can be combined. If I have 24 g's and I take 3 of them away, there's really only 21 g's over here. Plus there's also a 16 equals. Okay, how about like terms on this side? Well, this is a g, and these are just numbers, so those are combinable. So I will combine these two. So the 15g gets written down here, and if I take negative 12 minus 2, I'll show you how that would go into your calculator. The negative button's right here, so you'd go negative 12 minus 2, so minus 2. That's going to be negative 14, so minus 14. Okay. We got rid of the parentheses. Awesome. We combined like terms. Awesome. The next thing I look for is I put a finger on each side of the equal sign and I ask myself, are there letters on both sides of the equation? And there are. There's g's over here and there's g's over here. We want to move whichever pile is the smallest so that all the g's are on one side. So this is a smaller number of g's, so this is the one we're going to move. The opposite of a positive 15g would be a negative 15g. So I'm going to subtract 15 g's from each side. I'm going to rewrite. All right, so we have 21 g's. We're taking away 15 of them. So there's 6 g's left over here. There's also a 16 equals. These g's canceled out, so the only thing left on this side is a minus 14. All right, so now we used to have g's on both sides, but because we took care of that, now we only have g's over here. That's awesome. So the only thing we have to do left is we have to get the 6 and the 16 both moved over to the other side, then g will be by itself. The 6 is attached to the g, but the 16 is not attached to the g, and you always move the number that's not attached first. So first we have to move this 16. So the opposite of a plus 16 would be to subtract 16. So 6g equals negative 14 minus 16. That makes negative 30. Okay, so to get g by itself, we have to move the 6. This is 6 times g. The opposite of to times is to divide. So we'll move the 6 by dividing each side by 6. Oh, I just barely have enough room. Awesome. Okay, so I've got g left over here equals negative 30 divided by 6 is negative 5. So g equals negative 5. And we did it. We had enough space. We wrote very neatly. Well done. You solved.